Hey everybody, welcome. We're here today with Paul Hillman. He's a technical specialist at Parts Supercenter, and he is here today to talk to us a little bit about Manage, and we consider him an expert. He was our first customer of SolidWorks Manage. He's been longest tenured. He calls us for questions, but really he is a partner with us that knows so much about the program. And we're here today to talk to him because we think of him as a power user. We really are excited for the future of this program for other customers, for our own use, for things in this great wide world that SolidWorks inhabits. And today we're here today to talk to Paul a little bit about customization. So he said that Manage is really great at fitting the needs of your business. So Paul, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I've never been better.
You've never been better. Well, then I'm
Never.
glad I caught you on this morning. You peaked. After this, it's all downhill.
No, not necessarily. You can always get higher, my friend.
Wow. Okay, so you're on the up and up, and then we'll catch you in another month or two, and you'll be even better.
Absolutely.
All right. So today, thank you for doing this interview. I would love to see some of the things that you have done in Manage to customize it. And I would love for you to share your screen. And this is going to be something that we're going to share with everybody so that they can see some of the details of Manage. So are you ready to do that with sharing your screen?
Sure.
Okay, great. Let me make sure I give you that. All right. Up at the top, it should give you the chance to share your screen. Do you see that? Awesome.
Sure. I am very, since everyone's working from home, become very familiar with things.
Wonderful. Well, so right now we are inside of the homepage of Manage, right?
Correct. When you open it up, you could potentially see other screens.
Okay.
As Andrew has indicated, my company, Parts Supercenter, implemented Manage in 2019.
Yes.
We know we were one of the early ones. I was just informed I was the first one. That being said, as we started to do the implementation, we start to build a structure within Manage to meet our needs. And working with our reseller Design Point and Dassault, I had created something called a case. So each one of what most people would consider a tree, right?
Okay.
In SolidWorks, it looks like a tree. It's in the same position where the tree would be.
Gotcha.
If we go into the admin tool, this is called structures.
Okay.
At least that's how Manage has classified it. When you go into the admin tool, you'll see a heading called structure. So this falls within the structures. And after setting some things up, I showed Dassault, I showed Design Point, and I had the opportunity to speak at 3D Experience World last year,
excellent.
specifically on this topic. So what we had talked about was we had seen marketing material with all the great features of what Manage does, but after the reseller says, we think we got everything you asked for your implementation, here it is, we found ourselves all with like a question mark over our head, like, how do you use this? And what's the end goal? Like, our expectations were, it's going to do something awesome, it's going to help the company, but there was a question of, how does it work? Like, how do you use this tool?
Yep.
And so in doing that, one of the first things I had done was I created what's called a case. One of the first things a user should learn is what are the definitions of what they're saying is on the screen. So you have things such as project and cases.
Okay.
Right. You have processes. When you actually start to put together a process, it looks almost identical as a case. So you might ask yourself as a new user, what's the difference between a process and a case? And a process can be canceled at any time, right? You're working through a process and maybe something gets canceled and you can cancel the process. A case, in other words, is something where you're trying to collect information or data and it can't be canceled.
Okay.
Cases, so if we look in different industries, a court case will never be canceled in the middle. Police case will not be canceled in the middle. The cases that we set up in the industry shouldn't be canceled as well. So an example of a case was when we first did our implementation, a lot of users were saying, I don't have permission to access a certain stage. I don't have the ability to do X, Y, and Z. And so what we had done was we created manages, fix enhancements, and
Okay.
a reporting system.
Yeah,
right?
let's do that.
So if I were to go into this, the thing that kind of was fun to set up was someone indicates that there is an issue.
Okay.
Fill in the issues as there's a lot of testing going on. Inspection project will not load.
Okay.
Right.
Let's do it. Yeah.
So the very first thing what the customer, what the user does is say, I have a problem, and they fill it out in a description, and that's the first stage. And I request it. It's not required, but it's asked that you take a screenshot of your screen. That way you can see an error message, right? And by taking a screenshot, if we were to go ahead and click new.
Okay, so these are new cases then. That list there was cases?
Correct.
Okay,
so,
and I saw that they have a progress bar. So they had like 50%, 100%. So that is something where you're actually gauging how much they have been completed, worked on. You're kind of documenting the process as it's going through, but it's not a process, it's a case.
Correct.
Okay.
So one of the things we have to learn is it's a new tool, and everyone kind of geeks out at first, and they create this thing that I want to capture every piece of information. What color is the person's eyes? What's the weather of that day? And you wind up with a screen that you have to fill in a lot of information. And one of the things a user should be aware of is their job is to essentially make money for their company, right? They don't have hours to be filling out each individual screen that they're the moral of the story is we should ask the very specific questions, try to get down to what are you trying to accomplish as efficiently as possible with as few questions, because again, their job isn't to play and manage or work within manage, their job is something else. And so I take a very minimalist approach when I set up something within manage. So
you set this up then. This is a form that you set up and you customized.
So yes, that's going to be today's theme. Is how can manage work for you? Everything I show you today, you may say, that's great, that handles 6 things that I work with, but I got 10. I don't think this tool is going to be right for me. Or, oh, it gets so close, but it doesn't work here or there. What we need to understand is manage is fully customizable, like from start to finish. The amount of fields that you're looking to do, what you're trying to accomplish on each stage, the type of cases that you want to set up as a user, the type of projects. So we're going to follow the case real fast, but we're currently, I just want to step back one step in saying that we're currently using the projects tool with a lot of our bigger projects. And so we use traditional project management at Part Supercenter, right? Okay. And anyone that knows project management knows what I'm talking about. There's specific stages that we try to work through. But another company may be using waterfall or agile, right? And you may say, that's great. That works for traditional project management. Can it work for me? Yes, it's completely, the way they've set it up, it's completely customizable. From special objects to the fields that you're trying to capture to the notification to your teams, it all can be molded to however you plan on working. So that being said, right now, we're going to indicate that there's a problem within the system.
Okay, great.
And pretty much the asterisk indicates that there's an issue or it's a required field. I'm
required.
just going to say there is a problem with manage.
Okay.
Simple enough. I could take a screen capture, but I'm not for this case, just for to expedite things. And I'm going to send it to the next stage.
Okay. Oh, so it automatically developed a case number. So this is sequential then, right?
Your numbering system is customizable as well. You know, that case number is something that Part Supercenter came up with. That's what we wanted, but you could have it any which way you want. Yes, but it will auto number, which becomes a unique key for the database. Are you sure you want to move to the next stage?
Yeah.
All right. So you're kind of asking yourself, great, what just happened?
So the stage we're currently in is fix or enhancement.
Correct.
What was the first stage? Initialize?
Well, that I believe is the first stage. So if we go ahead and look at, if I can put my hands on it quickly. If we look at the history, I'm going to show you the workflow of a case, of this case.
Sweet.
And the beauty of the history, if you do what I'm doing here, and is it's going to tell you where you are.
Okay.
So very first stage, that initiating stage, that fix or enhancement, was identifying the problem.
Got it.
Now, one of the things that is happening in the background is an email is being sent out. And it hasn't come through yet, but an email is going to come up that says, hey, it records the person who actually issued the question or recorded the problem within Manage. So if that was Andrew who said there was a problem in Manage, it will capture that user's name and put it in the email stating, dear admin, Andrew has indicated that there's a problem. It actually captures what he had said, Manage is not working properly, and then if he would have done a screen capture, that is also included in the email. Now, what it's asking the admin to do next, and this is the fun thing where I kind of got noticed, was you're going into a decision, a yes or no decision, right? Yes, it goes down this way. No, it goes this way. And what it's asking the admin is, are you skilled enough, or do you have the knowledge base to fix said problem? Right? Yes or no? Do you need help? You know, if you say yes, I need help. Let's go ahead and go back just half a step. Let's go and look at what it's triggering the user to go ahead up.
So is the progress bar related to the stage that it's currently in?
Correct.
So it's currently at the 25% stage. So let's say that there's 4 stages. When it goes through those 4 stages, that means that it will be 100% complete?
Correct.
Okay, so you're getting real-time feedback. So there is a to-do list that is being created, and then that to-do list has the issue, and then it has the stages to address that issue, right?
Correct.
And this situation, we created the issue, and we're looking at it also from the admin point of view. But there could be other people as a network and as a whole company who use Manage or any sort of like this process to basically start error detection and problem solving, and we'll start with fix or enhancement, and then it'll start to communicate with the admin. It'll give them a choice, and then they're going to start to direct it to where it needs to be, and that will also start to communicate to the rest of the team. Hey, we actually need to reach out for support, or oh hey, yeah, we actually have the resources in-house to be able to do that. Here's what we need to do.
Yes, it could be as simple or as complex as you need it to be. Whether you have a team of 3 or if you have a team of 300, you would indicate who it's necessary to be communicated to. Maybe you have, you're working in Philadelphia and you have 3 floors in a skyscraper, and not every single person needs to be known that there's a problem in Manage. Maybe it's specific managers. Maybe it's just other admins, right? So it's up to whoever sets up the system to indicate who gets notified, right? So again, fully customizable. So what we're seeing now is Andrew. We're going to pretend Andrew filled out that first stage.
Okay.
He filled out that there's a problem. Everyone gets an email that it's been received, and now Andrew goes back to work. I get an email as the admin, and when I first started, you understand that as much as they teach you, there's a lot to learn. So there's no harm in saying I may need help, right? So as the admin at this point, I'm looking at this, and it's asking me support needed. And
Okay.
when I go ahead and I check out this product, this case.
Ah, interesting. That reminds me of PDM.
Yes.
So there's a lot of controls and permissions involved with manage.
Sure. So if you're familiar with PDM, imagine if I gave a piece of paper to 5 people on a team.
Okay.
Right? And I asked people to start filling in notes on each page.
Okay.
And as they all fill out the notes, I go ahead and collect that, and I show what's on the front page or that top page. Only one person's going to say, yeah, that's my work. Everyone else is going to say, what happened to my work? Why is my work not being displayed? Thus, you really should only have one person at a time working on that piece of paper or that document, right? So that way you don't have people overwriting the information. So if Andrew had a piece of paper, he checked it out, he filled in some notes, checked it back in, made it available for someone else. Someone else can now pick it up and add to the notes, cross out something maybe he had said, but he's starting to fill it out. And then you check that back in, you put it in a central location for someone to check or be able to look at or modify. So someone else checks it out and add to it. So
this is all about being able to work together as a team and really smooth out some of that process.
Correct.
Oh, wow. Okay. So the way that PDM does that with actual SolidWorks files, Manage is doing it with a whole database or forms or communication or any sort of information that's shared between a team.
Sure. You're checking it out, caching it onto your system. You're adding the information. So right now we're seeing a screen with very little information being required.
Right.
But if you're working on a project that you're trying to do the project charter and you're capturing a lot of information, you don't want someone accidentally overwriting that or doing the same work at the same time, and ultimately there's a clash between the information trying to be put in. So you check it out, you fill in the information in, if that's on your computer, you check it in, and it goes back to the server, and it makes it accessible to anyone else that needs to get have access to it at that point.
So this is great. So normally forms would have been like a like a PDF or maybe even just a Word document, and anybody would have been, there could have been how many different copies of this Word document between all the different team. And so this is kind of replacing fundamental document procedures for a company.
Sure.
That's cool.
We use this for our revision control, especially working from home. Before, we would use binders. It's something that's been used for decades. You would take a binder and you would open it up and you would record something on the first page on the index. You would get a number and you would make changes that revision control to that document. And then you make copies, and it was long. There was multiple steps. It was a lot of copier and putting it into the binder. It's all been streamlined, especially now that we don't have access to the binders because our whole team's working in different locations. My boss.
Working remote. That's a game changer.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to take up too much of your time. This has been so far so great. Why don't we just start to walk through and get this one to 100%? So how do we get the process completed to 100%?
So this is the thing Design Point and a lot of people from Dassault really enjoyed.
Yeah.
If I say yes, I need support help.
Okay.
And I say the priority is high or and I go ahead and I send this to the next stage.
Okay.
Are you sure? Yes.
So there's a little bit of checking and a little bit of
Now you might have to take my word on it. Andrew could potentially he can confirm this, but what just happened was an email is now sent to my reseller.
That's right.
Support at designpoint.com.
Yeah.
Saying that, hey, Design Point, we are having a problem with Manage. This is what's been reported. Here's the screenshot.
Right after I get done with this call, I'm gonna have to go apologize to someone like, oh, false alarm. We're
Yes,
good. Everything is fine.
Exactly. I should have said that this was a test. But I've even put language in because when we first set this up, it was so new. Even the resellers had some special people who were specialized in manage and some that weren't. And you can imagine with the amount of issues that were coming through, we didn't have months to figure things out. So I just put in a little blurb. This is a SolidWorks Manage issue. Could you have an application engineer familiar with Manage contact us? Trying to be as transparent and clear in our communication as possible.
Communication is the key of what you were saying there. So right now, this case, not a process, this case is at 50%. So it's at halfway point in your flow chart. Is that right?
In our, yes, the workflow.
And now the form has extended. So the first part of the form was available when we started our case. Then we went to the admin review. It asked us if the support was needed, and now it's asking us a next set of questions.
Correct.
Okay.
So we're going to go back to main, and again, the asterisks indicate required information.
Now, in order to add that information, we got to check the rec or the case out again, right?
Correct.
Okay. I'm learning here. I like
There
this.
You go.
I get this. I think everybody that's probably watching this. All right. So is there a solution to the reported case? Absolutely.
Okay.
So looking for a yes.
I do not want to name names. There was a user that said, I'm not fond of military time. So Manage likes to use military time in its tasks. So after you hit 12 o'clock, it goes to 1300, 1400. It was an honest answer, honest question, excuse me. Can we switch it to normal standard time? So I worked with Design Point, and at the time, there wasn't. So is there a solution to the reported case? There might be times where you might say no. They may say, as customizable as it might be, they may say, can you move a button? Can we rename? Can we change the checkout, check-in? Those are kind of stuck in the programming portion of the of this product, right? And I can't change things like that, but I can change the information being pulled. I can change the notifications. I can do a lot of things. I can't change how it was programmed, you know. So we're going to say, if we say no, that there's not, we're going to jump further in the line. But if I say yes, the support date, we can actually sit there. And the fields like what you have in Access or even Excel, where you can identify, excuse me, the type of information that you're inputting. I believe the support date is not working right now.
Okay, would that normally automatically fill in?
It could. You could have it grab the
I
date.
see from your form that it's actually not a required piece of information.
It's not.
So good to go. I know of a case number. We'll go for CN 80000. That's not probably true, but it's close. And there wasn't an SR needed. We were able to solve the issue without contacting SolidWorks. So we are good to go. Is the next step to check this in?
Right. So is there a solution? Yes. Design Point case number has been recorded. Now, the other thing too is we can capture our correspondence with Design Point. So if something is open for multiple days, we can actually say, this is what's called a special object, anything with a star next to it. And so anything that winds up repeating, right? You can have 2 calls, you can have 5 calls. The information that you're trying to collect is going to be repeated per call, but this is the correspondence, and you'll fill out what type of correspondence was it. It was an email, it was a Teams call, a Skype call. Skype's kind of being outdated at this point. The notes, what the takeaways are, did it fix the issue? Who was the participants involved with the said call, follow-up, so forth and so on. So People are accountable. My boss may say, John over here reported this problem 3 weeks ago. Where do we stand? I can actually print out a report that says, I've had 6 calls with Design Point. It's been escalated. The SO's working on it, and I can show my work. Right.
And this is far beyond just even manage issues. This could be something for your internal business of like emails between the crew. You have projects that you're trying to work through. All the different things of manage is all about the customization. Everything that you can use the tool set to basically create what you want to create. Okay, so for this one, let's check it in. Does that automatically make it change states or stages? No.
We can go send to next stage. We're going to check in. It's just putting it back on the server.
Okay.
Making it available to everyone.
And is it now at 75%? No, we have to change the stage.
Correct.
Okay, so if we change the stage, will it be at 75%?
So what happens with the stages, the progression bar?
Sure.
It's up to the admin to kind of indicate when they're setting it up. When you hit this stage or complete this stage, you're at X. So as an engineer, you would say, if I have 4 stages, each stage would constitute maybe 25%.
Sure.
Right? You could argue that, but if I go back, it'll be at 33%.
So you have different pathways, and those different pathways could take different amounts of time.
Correct. Right.
Perfect. Okay, so let's send this to the next stage.
Sure. And it's just asking, are you sure?
Yeah. Now, do you know of is that the final stage?
This is support escalated. Normally it tells you, we're darn close. If we're not.
Tell you what,
right?
Paul, I think the idea is sound, because we could have evaluated the pathways. If we would have said no, then it would have been something of these processes needed to be taken place. So this form is really being filled out. It's like we were talking about. It's whether it's the document control. So you're checking out this case, or if it's for anything else inside of Manage, you are gaining ownership of that form, and then you're filling in the information that you're responsible for. If that, then you send that to the next stage. Somebody else could probably fill out the next portion of the form if they were responsible for it. So this is really, you said the word communication, there's delegation, there's permissions, there's all the different aspects of a database being managed by SolidWorks Manage, and really having document control. You talked about emails and how that was going to be external, and really making sure that there was accountability and being able to see the history. You could give that report to your supervisor.
Oh, it gets even better. It really. So Andrew tells me it's user error. If you tell John to do X, Y, and Z, this should solve the problem. I can actually create a task, delegate it to John, copy paste what was in that email in the task, and now if.
Oh, wow. Wait a second. So you could get the next action item steps and give that to someone, and that is in Manage, and it's not going to be completed until they come back with the information of, yes, we did that, and it fixed the issue that we're having, whether it's internal, external, all these kind of different things. So you're doing this as a project, a management tool. So you're being able to track the progress, but you're also being able to do the assignment of tasks and the communication with all inside of Manage.
Our goal is to fix the problem, and we put all the tools that we need. Again, the case is customizable. Not every case will require tasks. Not every case will require what you see on the side of our toolbar. But what we did when we created this case is we asked ourselves, what tools are required to fix the problem? Right? And so I love seeing the light bulb go on people's heads, because again, they've seen the marketing material. but to be able to see it used practically, and when people get as excited as I get, I kind of geek out with them. So I love to see how excited you're getting. I hope that the
That's
users
great.
are as well.
So
But
something I've interacted with our customers is that they have a lot of one-off projects. So their automation or their, these kind of machine design, and they have a lot of things where they're like, how could we ever standardize? We have every single time we talk to our customers that it's a one-off, it's something that we can't reuse this. But some of the things that we're starting to do as a growth advisory, partner, we're starting to help people see how you might not be able to use exact duplicates of files, but you can start to standardize the process. And the
right,
tools are how you can kind of make that efficient, standardized, accountable. And it's something where you engineer the process so that it's consistent. It might be a one-off for every single thing, but how did you get to that end result? I
correct.
am so encouraged by all the different things that you've shown today. Paul, I am going to wrap things up here. I know we didn't make it to the 100%, but I trust that
Darn close.
we got there. We got pretty darn close, and
Yes.
I think we got a ton of good content for what we're doing. So, Paul, I'm going to just say thank you so much for walking us through a teeny little bit of Manage and spending a little bit of your time here with us today.
That was my pleasure. Obviously, we could talk all day, but I agree. Let's keep it in digestible little chunks for people, right? I hope they enjoyed it and they got something out of it.
All right, wonderful.